How's it going, everyone? Welcome to the sweep. We're going to get started here in just a moment. All right, good. That looks like it's working. If you guys like to chat in, say hello. Let us know you're out there in virtual world. We'll get started here in just a moment. I texted to you. Text. Okay, guys, let's go ahead and get started. I've got one of my guys just getting ready to log in, but in the meantime, let's go ahead and get started. So again, like, share, and follow on social media as usual. Here are our social media links. If you want to reach out to us directly, you can go to daytradesmart.com or you can email us info@daytradesmart.com. Let's go over the Forex calendar for next week. You see this is this week. We covered this last Friday, what to expect this week. So hopefully you guys were watching that and not participating in that madness. I'm sure some of you did, and if you did, hopefully it was in demo account. That stuff will get nasty and you don't want to be a part of that. Okay, so let's go on to next week. Sometimes we'll have announcements on Saturday. By the way, when we do have announcements when the market is closed, when it opens back up, especially in the Forex market, you'll have these gaps. And these gaps will, they can fluctuate. If we look back to, so really quickly, I'll show you, if we look back to, let's just go back to, I'm going to go to clean chart. And we're going to go back to like 2015. And I want to show you something because these got pretty intense. So let's see. So back here in 2015, we were seeing some pretty big gaps from the Friday close to the Sunday open. And sometimes they closed, sometimes they didn't, sometimes it took years, but they were pretty significant. So this one right here, for example, the market closed here, and then when it opened here 48 pips lower. All right, so here the market closed, and when it opened 23 pips higher. So you can see sometimes, and some of these were actually a lot more aggressive than that. Those are just a couple that I kind of picked up on right there. But let's see this one here. Yeah, so let's look at this one for just a quick second. So right here, the market closed right here, okay? And sometimes over the weekend or when the market's closed, it will open up with a gap, right? So the price where it opens is different than the price where it closes. Where traditionally you're going to be pretty close to your opens and closes, right? So this candle closes right here and then opens right there, kind of fluctuated up and then closed there and then went to the next and then closed there, went to the next. Down, closed, next, down, closed, a little bit of gap up, right? So not anything too significant, but look at this. This is just, it closed up here, and then when it reopened, it was down here, 96.9, 97 pips lower. And so that is something to keep in mind, especially if you're in a trade and, depending on your broker, let's say you've got a stop loss of 10 pips. And if over the weekend it gaps and now it's down here, right, 97 pips away, some brokers won't close you out at that 10 pip. It'll just kind of skip over it, and then you'll open up your brokerage on Sunday, or the market will restart and you're 100 pips upside down. So not a good place to be. Definitely don't want to mess around with that. So that is some of the dangers of carrying trades over the weekend, right? So just keep that in mind. Plus, generally, you're getting swap fees that are triple, the normal swap fee because it's being carried over the weekend. So just something to be considerate of. We don't have any of those situations this Saturday. On Sunday, we do have a few announcements, not anything too big. We're looking at Mountain Standard Time here, so keep that in mind. And Mountain Standard Time, 4:45 p.m. We got trade balance for the NZD, which is the New Zealand dollar. Japanese yen has 6:30 p.m. announcement, which is 6:30 Mountain, so 8:30 Eastern. Flash manufacturing PMI. 11 p.m. Mountain or 1 a.m. Eastern. JPY, Japanese yen, also has the BOJ core CPI year end. And then on Monday we've got, starting off with the euro at 2 a.m. Mountain, 4 a.m. Eastern. We got German IFO business climate, and then at 5 a.m. Mountain, 7 a.m. Eastern, MPC member Vlay speaks, and then 7 a.m. for the euro Mountain, we've got Belgian MBB business climate. USD, we got new home sales, and these are all orange, medium impact, and yellow. So not anything too impactful to start off our week on Monday. And then on Tuesday, we've got a few red announcements here we want to keep an eye out for. Orange BOJ Kuroda speaks for the JPY. That's going to happen at 1:30 a.m. Mountain or 3:30 Eastern. And these are a bunch of yellow announcements, not too bad there. Here on the Aussie, 6:35 a.m. Mountain, 8:35 Eastern. RPA Deputy Governor DeBell speaks. And then right here, CB Consumer Confidence. This is a big deal, and that's why it's a red announcement, high impact, and that's going to be 8 a.m. or 10 a.m. Eastern. So keep an eye out for that. That does tend to create some waves. So keep an eye out for what CB Consumer Confidence says. And then we've got a yellow announcement for USD. We'll skip that one. 7:30 p.m. We're looking at the Aussie. So it's 7:30 Mountain, 9:30 Eastern. We got CPI quarterly, and then a timed mean CPI quarterly. So that's the Aussie, Australian dollar, 7:30 p.m., 9:30 p.m. Eastern for the Australian dollar. Okay, so that brings us into Wednesday. And Wednesday, we've got a bunch of yellow announcements to start off the day. Then right here at 6:30, the CAD and the 6:30 Mountain, we got CPI month end, and then a lot of medium impact, common CPI yearly, median CPI yearly, trim CPI yearly, and then some yellow announcements. Crude oil inventories, that's 8:30 a.m. Mountain, 10:30 Eastern for the US dollar. Crude oil inventories, medium impact, and then FOMC statement and federal fund rate. This is going to be a busy day, guys. We're expected to be less than 0.25% still, right? They're expected to hold that. And if you read the meeting minutes of the last one, that is the sentiment. Now, keep in mind, if they don't do that, right? Let's say they increase to 0.25 or 0.5, something that's greater than less than 0.25, then you're going to see some movement in the market, right? It's going to be unexpected. You're going to see some movement in the market. But even if it stays that way, we can expect to see a reaction. We kind of talked about that last time because they left it as it was, right? Previous was less than 0.25, and the forecast was they were going to keep it at less than 0.25, and they did, which technically means that the dollar should have weakened. And if you guys have read any of the headlines or you guys have been watching the US dollar, you guys can see that we've been strengthening in the US dollar. So again, the announcement has no bearing on what the market is going to do, even though it should. It doesn't. The bank, the institutions will do whatever they want. And they're going to be the ones that push the market in one direction to the other. And so keep that in mind, right? We don't want to bank on that. And believe me, the worst thing that'll happen is you try to trade on something like that and it works out really well for you, and you think you figured something out, right? And it isn't until it bites you really bad, you're out of the game, and you're so sore from that beating that you don't want to come back, that you realize that you made a mistake a long time ago in trying to even mess with something like that. So I'm telling you right now, just stay away from that garbage. Okay, FOMC press conference, 12:30. So they usually make a statement after the fund rate. So that is going to be a busy day. A lot of times leading up to that announcement, you'll see consolidation in the market, you'll see posturing in the market, a lot of stuff like that. So that could be a very volatile day. But, again, if you have your setup and you've back tested for it, you take it. And if it loses, well, then you take the L, right? You take the L, you take the loser, and you live to fight another day. But don't let it stop you, except for in this time frame right here. You don't want to be putting your trades in. If your trade setup occurs within that time, I would say 30 minutes before or in this case, I would say at least until an hour after, because we've got a follow-up, the FOMC press conference. So 12 p.m. Mountain. So I would say 11:30 Mountain or 1:30 Eastern till about 1 p.m. Mountain or 3 p.m. Eastern. You don't want to be putting in a trade in the market, right? And any currency pair, not just U.S. dollar, because this will affect all currency pairs. Very likely, if there is any type of effect, it can very well affect all the currency pairs, not just the ones with USD in it. And then we've got yellows after that. Let's move on to Thursday. Thursday, we've got a red advanced GDP for US dollar, 6:30 a.m. Mountain, 8:30 Eastern, and some medium impact advanced GDP price index quarterly and unemployment claims, which again is orange, which is really interesting. Medium impact. I think it's just because we're kind of expecting, and actually this is get better, right? Look, 419K was the previous, and now the forecast is 375,000. So that's actually a good thing, because if that's low, that means that we have lower unemployment, so higher employment. So that's good if that is getting lower, which will just further strengthen, or is supposed to, right? Supposedly strengthen the U.S. dollar. And then pending home sales month end, and that's going to be at 8 a.m. Medium impact for the U.S. dollar. So 8 a.m. Mountain, 10 a.m. Eastern. Okay, and that brings us to Friday. And Friday, German prelim GDP quarterly, and that's at 2 a.m. for the euro. 2 a.m. Mountain, 4 a.m. Eastern. Got a red one, GDP month end for the CAD, Canadian dollar, and core CPI price index for the U.S. dollar, another red impact. Then some medium impact, Chicago PMI for U.S. dollar, revised UOM consumer sentiment, and manufacturing PMI for the CNY. And that wraps up Friday. Saturday, there's nothing there, so we're not going to move on from there. This will affect the following week, which is Sunday, and we'll cover that next week. So that's going to wrap it up for us for the economic calendar. Let's go to move on from there. So today we actually have a special guest, Tyler Perry, and Tyler Perry is like the legacy, right? This guy was around when the indicators first came to be, right? So his father is the one that created the indicators. So Tyler's been trading since he was a kid. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce Tyler here. Tyler, and let me know if you can unmute. Yeah, go ahead and unmute your mic when you got a moment there, Tyler.
You're unmuted.
All right, awesome. Yeah, so welcome. How's it going?
Thanks. I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. How'd the week shape up for you?
Oh, I traded excellent. I'm no losses this week for me. And
nice.
Yeah, took today off with all those announcements that you were going over, and we're headed into a great weekend.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, that's an awesome way to start the weekend, right? with some winners. So Tyler, you've obviously been around since, the dawn of time as it pertains to the indicators and the program, where your dad invented the algo, and we kind of took that off and built a whole business around it. So let's talk about that for a moment. Let's kind of go back. How did this all get started?
Yeah, absolutely. So 98. Let's go all the way back to 98.
Let's go.
Pops is running an aquarium business. We service fish tanks all over Utah. And he gets taken to a meeting at the Marriott Hotel in Provo about futures. Kind of an expensive little endeavor that he went through, and they get him to put a bunch of money in the market. They're not clear on which future that they're looking at. So if he's looking at information on one future, trades a second future. This does not end well. So he loses a bunch of money. He gets to go home and tell my mom all about it. And mom says, "What are you going to do about it?"
Nice.
Complain. So he sits down and he starts writing this algorithm. And this algorithm takes market data and converts it into the indicators that we have now.
Nice. And so, I mean, for the most part, these indicators, they haven't changed since, I mean, as far as the algorithm goes, there has been no change to algorithm or anything in the time that they've existed, right?
Right, because math is math. Math is finite. 2 + 2 is always 4. Right. Even if you're using Common Core math, 2 apples plus 2 apples is always 4 apples. So there's no need to adjust it for whatever the market's doing.
Right. That is phenomenal. And believe me, it was, it has been life shattering for a lot of people, but especially for, honestly, I don't think that I know that I wouldn't be as effective. I'm sure I could figure out some way, but there's no possible way I could trade at the level that I'm trading at today if it weren't for these indicators. So
Yeah.
no, that's awesome. So I want to say I've been really hype about this charity work that we've been doing in the organization, and I like to get different perspectives about it. So let's talk about that just for a second. What kind of impact do you think we're making with this charity work that we've been doing with Feeding America?
It's actually been awesome. We're bringing in a steady amount that increases every month, and we're kind of somebody that they can count on because we are bringing in tons and tons of meals for all these families. It's been awesome.
That's
really cool.
Yeah, it's I started looking into the charity a little bit more. It got me pretty excited about things, and it's amazing what they can do with $10.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty incredible. So that's
Yeah.
awesome stuff. And matter of fact, later on, guys, we'll talk to you guys about how you can, contribute to that and also help yourself. So we'll get to that later on as well. So let's go back to trading for a moment. So, when we bring somebody into the program, they're trying it out. In your opinion, how long would you say it would take for somebody to vet whether or not this would be a good fit for them?
Most people know that this is going to work for them inside of 3 to 5 days, but won't actually admit it outside for maybe a week or two.
Yeah.
Because when they see it inside of those first couple of days, all the questions of like, is this real?
Mm-hmm.
Is this, too good to be true? Is like they have all those natural human emotions.
Right.
And so they know that it works because they're doing it. But it's like, all right, I know this. I saw this work for a couple of days. Let's test it. And then we offer it for a month at that price. But really, they know within a couple of weeks if this is going to work for them or not.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And you're absolutely right. You talk to them, they still want to be a little reluctant. Because I think a lot of people kind of approach things like it's a sales type thing, right? So they're on one side of the table, we're on the other, and they've got to have their guard up, right? They don't want to give anything away. And it's really not that way for us. We want to make sure we have the right type of person as well, right? So, in your opinion, what does that look like? What does the right person look like? In your opinion, for what fits for us to allow them into our trading university?
Oh, yeah. So first off, it's what's the level of commitment can you bring to the table? Can you meet me in the middle? I'm not going to do it all for you. I'm not going to hand you a silver bullet trade. There's no such thing. I'm going to ask you for a level of commitment, and I'll meet you there. And anyone can trade. Traders come from everywhere.
Yeah.
We have every profession of day trader here at the office. We have age range, a minimum of 18, all the way up to, as long as your finger can click the mouse. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, we have not yet identified somebody who cannot do this.
Right.
All we've been able to identify is that everybody can do this.
Absolutely. And case in point, man, you were just telling me, so you guys might not know this, but Tim, my business partner, Tyler, and myself, we are a trade circle, right? So we'll get together really often. We'll, look at the indicators, place trades together. 2 heads are better than 1 type scenario. But it's good to also keep each other accountable. And so obviously we travel together, we hang out together. And so, we know each other's personal lives. So not to pry, but you did tell me a cool story about your daughter that I wanted you to share if you're open to that. Just share about what you were doing with your daughter. So please go ahead.
Yeah. So I have a very responsible young woman at my house. She is, I don't want to give her age away, but let's say she's older than 12, less than 18. And she came to me and said, Daddy, what do you do? Because in my past, I've got to do all kinds of jobs because of this. I was a I've done construction. I wanted to be a fireman, so I went and learned how to be a fireman for 6 years. I wanted to know how to drive a locomotive, so I went and I got hired on at the Union Pacific, and I did that. And so she's always known, like, oh, Daddy drives a fire truck, Daddy's a fireman, Daddy drives a train, Daddy is an engineer. Daddy walks around with a bag with a computer in it now. So she was interested. I sat her down and I said, okay, this is a language. Let me show you how to learn a new language. And so I sat her down and I taught her how to trade. I've made a very simple trade plan for her. Again, she's between the ages of 12 and 18, and she owns part of a Bitcoin. She trades for her allowance, and yeah, she only does it a couple of days a week. She's little, but anyone can trade. Anyone.
Absolutely. So in your opinion, who wouldn't be right for something like this? You know, if they came to us and, you know, obviously we have this vetting process. We want to make sure they're right for us.
Right.
So in your opinion, who wouldn't fit the bill?
If you're looking for a get rich quick, see ya. If you're looking for me to do it for you, see ya. If you don't have the disposable income and you're taking the mortgage to pay for this, see ya. Other than that, I'm looking for drive. Will you meet me in the middle? Because I'm here. This is as far as I can go as the middle. And so it's just those kind of folks. We can teach anyone to do this. Whatever your mindset is, we work on that. Whatever your level of understanding, we'll teach you that too.
You know, we always joke around. We talk about, you know, you can, you know, the old saying, you can lead a horse to water, you can't make him drink. We're kind of like, well, we lead the horse to water. We make sure he's super thirsty, wait for his mouth to be open, splash the water in his mouth, jab him in the throat, plug his nose. Still can't make him drink, right? It's like, nope. Okay, we can only take you so far. And no matter how simple we make it, at the end of the day, you got to drink.
There's that last 1% that you actually have to get it in there, but we'll get you the rest of the way for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. You know, once they get to the Trade Alike program and they go into, you know, our Trader University, let's talk about how it works to get an account and to trade with that. So probably one of the biggest questions that I get around, you know, trading our corporate funds is how it works, right? Because there's other organizations out there that, you know, they've got their stipulations. They want to know what ours are. So let's kind of hash that out really quickly. What does that look like? To get a trade account, what happens at that point?
Yeah. So you're going to sign up. You're going to pick a coaching level. That coaching level, depends on what it is going to come with a certain amount of weeks of coaching, in-person office coaching. It just depends on the level that you go for. Once you have met our requirements of taking your weeks of coaching, depending on the level you go, if you do the 2 days in office, when that part is done, you're going to submit for a corporate funded account. We are so, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not pride. We are so sure of our product that we're going to take our money and we're going to fund you an account. We want you to trade corporate money. We're also going to make it a split. So it's not just, hey, you do this for me and I'm going to make some money. This needs to be, we both have to have skin in the game. We're going to make a split here. The splits are 50-50, 60-40, 70-30, 80-20. So whatever happens at the end of the month, if you are above high water mark, we're going to split that money with you, and mostly in your favor. So anything above the high water mark at the end of the month, we pull it out, we split, we go back to the amount, and we go again. Now, depending on the coaching package, you can ask for additional funds. We are so sure that this works that I'm not just going to hold you at the initial value. We can take it up to $5,000, $10,000, all the way to $100,000 that we're willing to put into the account for you guys to trade and then get your splits when you're above the high water mark.
Phenomenal, right? I mean, it just works on this whole other level. There's this whole psychological facet, especially when you put your own money into the market. And, you know, I see that we find, you know, even people that decide to kind of jump the gun, even though we kind of recommend, look, trade our money first, let's get your feet wet. And then, when you make some money trading, then diversify it. And some people are just in such a rush and they want to put their own money in the market. And that whole psychological facet of trading their own money before they kind of had an opportunity to, kind of dip their toe in the water is so destructive. I mean, is that something you'd agree with? Have you seen that?
Yeah, no, for sure. And so sometimes that'll happen. Sometimes people will get into the market. Sometimes people will even just get into their corporate account too fast and then they lose it. And then people ask us, oh, well, am I on the hook for that? Nope. If you draw down our account, we're not going to come ask you for any of it. That's the other part. We are so sure and so committed about this system that if you draw down, okay. And then you have options. You can pay for more coaching and come back. You could put your own funds in. There's all kinds of options, but we're so sure of this that we're just not going to come back on that. So that's our level of commitment to everybody.
And that, I was talking to Troy last week about that. And, that really does show a level of commitment on us because we are certain of what we do. We've been doing it long enough. We see that it works and it's advantageous. And it works really effectively when we're, because like any business, you want to make sure you lead with your best foot, and so I feel like we really do that in saying, look, we are very confident in what we've done. We've been doing this long enough. We know that we can grow successful traders, and we're willing to put our money where our mouth is. So when they first get funded, what's generally the starting balance?
Yeah. So on average, we start most folks at about $2,500 corporate funded account, which would allow you at a risk level of 2 with an 80%, 70% win rate. You're going to be making trades that are going to be making you $25 and $50 per trade on the average. Depends on if you're an atypical trader, more conservative trader, less. Just depends on your appetite for risk. But yeah, we started about $2,500.
Oh, awesome. And so you get to a point where, the next month, things are going as expected. They're following their trade plan. What's typical when so they want to get an increase. What do those increases look like? And we're going to throw another couple bucks in there. What does that look like in your perspective? So in your experience?
Yeah. So once you go to the review board and we look the account, everything is what we want it to be, and we teach you what it needs to be. So it's not like it's a big secret. A lot of times we double 25 to 5. 5 to 10, 10 to 20 to 25. Like there's a little extra jump in there when things are going good. Our intention is to get you to max funding. Max funding is either going to be 50,000 or 100,000. That's our intention.
Yeah, that's awesome. And as a matter of fact, I've seen, in that funding board where we've just decided, look, you've traded a $5,000 account. Let's kick you up to 50,000.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously that's more like the white buffalo, right? It doesn't happen often, sure, but it definitely happens where we're just like,
it happens a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And awesome. If the account needs a little work, but it's still good, we'll give you partial. We're not against, like, there's no finite, like you're either all in or all out. Right. Like if you're doing 75% of what we need, we'll give you a 75% bump. Like that's fine. Yeah. We're pretty open like that.
Absolutely. That's awesome. So let's talk about the time commitment. When you're talking with your students, and just some kind of backstory on Tyler. Tyler has been tasked with one of the more difficult, primarily because he's equipped to do this, one of the more difficult jobs in the organization. In the instances where we've got individuals that are struggling with their profitability, we want to be able to have ongoing support, right? Because we've got skin in the game. Like Tyler was saying, we got skin in the game. We want to make sure that you're successful. We have just as much bought into your success as you do. Sometimes it feels like we've got more, right? Sure. But when you're talking to a student, whether it's to help them, get to a place where they're cleaning up their process, which is usually the case, right? It's like, okay, this is your plan, and this is what you did in the market, and that doesn't match your plan type conversations. but you want to get a commitment from them. So let's talk about time commitment. If you could take that trader back to the beginning and you could say to him, okay, this is the time commitment that I want from you on a daily, weekly basis, what would that be?
So in the very, very beginning, when they're brand new and they're coaching, they're going to be doing 2 1-hour sessions a week. So there's 2 hours. They should be doing at least an hour of homework and or back testing on top of that. And then moving forward, you should be doing at least another hour. So once you're successful, you're through the coaching, you have a corporate account, you still got to keep at it. I mean, there's at least an hour a week, 2 hours a week minimum once you're past that. And a lot of that looks like continuing ed that we offer moving forward. We have a Wednesday meeting that's an hour. There's an hour. You're listening to one of us experienced coaches teaching moving forward. Maybe you throw in 1 more hour of back testing to check on your plan and you're good to go. Keep your trading. Yeah.
Awesome. So with that commitment, goodness, I lost my train of thought. Right. So with that commitment, what do you recommend is the best way to practice? I mean, especially with Green Chart 2, what do you feel is the best approach? We always want to practice like we play. What are some of your tips on how they should practice?
Practice. Well, we just said it. So I'm going to quote one of my favorite people, Bruce Lee. I do not fear the man that knows 10,000 kicks once. I fear the man that knows 1 kick 10,000 times. Meaning, don't back test day and night because you're not going to play that way. Back test your time. Go back to when is your trade time? Are you a morning, afternoon, evening trader? Focus there. If you're a morning guy, you kind of don't care what happens at night. And if you're a nighttime trader, you don't care what's in the morning. You're just not going to be there. Master your trade plan. Become very consistent with your trade plan. Have 1, maybe 2 trade plans. No need for a million. We have currently, I think I could probably come up with 20 different trade plans because there's people that like different kinds of stuff. You don't need to know them all. I don't want you to know them all. I want you to Bruce Lee. I want you to know 1 kick and I want you to know it 10,000 times. So that's kind of a direction to practice.
Absolutely. I'll tell you something. Last week, Troy and I totally butchered that saying. He was like, "Yeah, Bruce Lee said something about like a punch and 10,000," and then I was like, "No, it was a kick," and we totally butchered it, man. It was hilarious. So that happened. So I appreciate you cleaning that up, man. And that none of this is scripted, so you just kind of knew, right?
Yeah, I can feel your vibe, right? I can feel that you needed to clean up on the Bruce, the Bruce Lee 3-inch punch. Right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yep. So I appreciate the mulligan on that one, man.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I won't tell anybody if you don't tell anybody.
You got it. Let's cut this part out.
Yeah, we'll just everybody pause for a second. We'll make a little cut.
That's right. So you've got a trader, and they've got their trade plan. They've back tested it. They know exactly what the setup looks like. They know when they're going to execute it when it happens. They know what risk reward they're going to use. They know what risk percentage they're going to use. What is the time commitment at that point? How much time do you think they're spending? Let's just say they've got 2 trade setups, 2 trade plans.
Yeah.
What time commitment does that look like?
An hour to 2 hours for their trade session. So for me, I trade 7 to 9 Mountain Standard Time. I very rarely go the whole distance. I can find what I'm looking for in an hour, hour and a half, and then I get to go do whatever the hell I want.
Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah. Absolutely. One of the best parts of this whole gig, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So we're hearing a lot of stuff, and it almost feels like there's going to be this shift in the way things are done with just markets in general. We had some fast ones pulled with like Market Street Bets, things like that, AMC, GameStop. Yep. So that kicked up some dust. That was really interesting. For me, it feels like a one-off, but I think it's going to spark this like, renaissance or this like, revival of some sort in the markets. Tell me what your perception is of the demand right now for professional day traders, for the industry in general.
Well, the old industry is all but dead. I'm not sure you could find me a profession anymore that you get in on an internship, you work for 30 years, you retire, get a gold watch, and slide off into the sunset. It doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
Therefore, me giving all of my money to some entity and hoping and praying that I get 1% is broken. This is gone. People want control of their own money, and this is an avenue for that to happen. That people get to put their money in, they get to make all the decisions, and this is where it's heading. Because just like you said, I don't trust these people pulling fast ones. I want to be in charge of my own financial future.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, you're right. I mean, the other way is you give somebody your money, and if it was anything like 2008 or 11 or 16, first part of 2020, whether you win or lose, you got to pay that person.
Right. Yeah.
So there's no real,
This way,
yeah.
I was going to say, in this way, you just pay yourself. If you don't trade and you don't make any money, then don't pay yourself. And if you do trade and you are profitable, pay yourself. And you only work on your personal integrity around your money. You're the only person you have to answer for. And I think that's really where this is all shifting, is very much a personal level.
Yeah, absolutely. So you've been around obviously for a really long time as far as this whole organization, the indicators, you know, from start to finish, where your dad was into trading. You've had exposure to other things. In your opinion, what makes this, where's our edge? What makes this superior to anything else that's out there?
That's a two-part answer. The first one is our indicators. There's nothing out there, anything like what we've got. They're easy to read. We'll teach you how to do it. And it folds into the part two, is our culture. Nobody has a culture like ours. Our desire is for anyone that joins, becomes a member, a student, is for them to change their financial DNA in a positive way and make more money. And we are driven. We are committed for that to happen. We are, like I said, we are so sure of our product. We want you to trade our money, and then you get to keep it. So indicators and our culture is really what sets us apart.
Yeah, absolutely. And like we were talking about, you know, we've got that trade circle between us, and a lot of our members have the same.
Oh,
you know,
yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. You know, and so what about the skeptics? What kind of skepticism over the years have you heard? I mean, what's the like most common, you know, skeptic concerned about when coming to our organization?
Oh, the by far the most important one, or the one we hear the most, is this real? Is this real?
Yeah.
And then the second one is, can I really do this? It's one of those two. Those are like the contenders for the number one spot. Can I do this? Is this real? Yes, everyone can learn to trade. And this really does work.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's always an interesting question, you know, can I do this? You know, that is one that we hear, I personally hear really often, you know, and you know, it's funny because people will say stuff like, it's too good to be true. It just sounds like it's too good to be true, you know, and really it does sound like it's too good to be true. It is simple, but it's hard work. And that's where the rub is sometimes. It's like, okay, are you willing to do the work? Yeah, you get this great reward, but there is some work that has to be done. I think for some people, they, like you said, we're not looking for the people that are interested in get rich quick. And that's like the get rich quick, like tomorrow I'm going to be rich, right? I'm going to take a trade and I'm going to be, but relatively speaking, it's pretty dang quick. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, you look at some of the profit curves on this, it boils down to, because people ask this as the next question. Well, how long is it going to take me to make money, or whatever, in a version of that question. Mm-hmm. And the answer is, well, how much effort are you willing to put in?
Yep.
Because everybody is different. We have atypical people. They knock this out of the park from day one. We've got people in the middle that take a little bit of time, and then we've got people that are stretching it out a little bit.
Right.
Whatever it takes. It's the mindset. What's the mindset of your success? You know, I like to ask people, Hiram, when is the best day to plant a tree? Or let me subtitle that. When was the best day to plant your financial tree? 20 years ago.
Absolutely.
When is the second best day to plant that financial tree?
Right now.
Right now. So depending on when you plant your tree, Are you atypical? Are you in the middle? Are you busy sniffing flowers before you get to your tree? That's fine. Plant the financial seed now, and let's get a financial tree going for you.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. You know, we've been at this for, in terms of the business, because obviously, I mean, you were around before, you know, when your pops was using it, he was sharing it with just his friends, and obviously you guys' family. I mean,
Yep.
that was just kind of what it was going to be, and then later on, you know, kind of created the business out of it. But I wanted to just kind of talk about the beginnings, because it happened in a very significant year. You know, so let's talk about kind of what prodded that. So the year that it started and why that year.
Yeah, 98.
Or no. This is like,
Sorry, fast forward. So Pops does it in 98. The business starts 13 years ago in 08.
yep, thank you.
Okay. Now, everybody, if you don't know about 2008, you're either 10 or you've been living under a rock. One of those two things. 2008 was fantastic and disheartening all at the same time. This system works both in a bear market and a bull market. Well, 2008 was down. And we made great trades that had great profit. And so as the world burns, here we are in a little brand new company having great success, and brought on as many people as we could to show them, look, we can show you how to make money in a down market when it crashes all around.
Yep, yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, it was really interesting is that, you know, at first it was kind of like word of mouth. You got to know somebody that knows somebody, going to kind of stress test it for a little bit, make sure that we can sustain this, and then have at it. So yeah, there was just a select few. You kind of think about like Gen 1 people, where it was like a binder, you know, and
oh my God, yeah.
And your dad saying, "Hey, I'm going to send out a message. Hey, I'm going to be at the office, you know, and we're going to go," and everyone's just like, "Hey, calling into work," and, you know, rush. You know, it was all really like impromptu, right?
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that's awesome. So yeah, and here we are now. I mean, what is this? I mean, over a decade later, you know, hundreds of traders trading our corporate funds.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we've got more webinars in the week than we have days in the week. Right now, we've got at least one webinar every day. Most days, at least 2 or 3.
Yeah. Almost 2 every day, and then we even have some on the weekends where that committed.
Yep, Saturday, Sunday. Yep, that's awesome. Well, I'm gonna transition here for a moment, because I want you to, and I'm gonna hand you the control here for a moment, but I want you to present the trade of the week. So Tyler Perry is like the first of us to break out of the day trading matrix. So here's your intro right here. But you know,
I love it.
You know, because there is that traditional way of day trading that has just existed since the dawn of time, right? And that's just all anyone ever knew. And then we've got this new thing that happens, and so you're kind of the one, the first, right? You're the OG. So I'm going to hand this off.
All right. Yeah. If you give me the co-host, I will share my screen, and we will go through this for sure.
It is all you right there. Go ahead and take over the screen share, my friend.
Okay. All right. We are going to share this on over. All right. Here is the algorithm in its beauty. What I've got here today, guys, is a 5-minute chart, a 1-minute chart, and we're not really going to stress about the 10 and 30. They're just extra. So I have pulled up Friday the 2nd. Of this month. This was just something that was beautiful that I saw happen. I traded most of this because the market is now closed, and it was closed. Well, it wasn't closed then. It was 8 o'clock in the morning Mountain Standard Time. We're going to use one of our other features that we have, is the ability to go back in time and replay a trade. And I'm going to show you guys how wonderful this algorithm is. So what we're going to be looking for is, we are looking for, I'm going to pause this 1 second. and I'm going to explain what is wanted out of the indicators here. So the language that I'm reading, the language of the squiggly lines, I am looking for this indicator here. Green and red are majors, gray and black are minors, looking for them to make in the overbought position and change direction and head down. So we're just going to keep it very simple. We're going to keep it right here. Now there's more indication here. The direction of this helps us. The direction of our 1 minute here helps us. These other lines will teach you as we get going in coaching. So let's watch and see if this turns down. And if it does, we're going to take 5 pips out of the market and we'll go from there. So I'm going to play this ahead. All right, so there it turns down and there the candle starts. So we've got the turn into the channel. I've got this pointed down. These two are called pressure. They're pointed down. Candles posted below. So I'm going to set up a trade. I'm going to take, we said we're going for 5. So here is my target, 5 pips here. And we're going to watch this go. And once this gets to the bottom, we're then going to turn and we're going to wait for it to turn and go for a buy. And then we're going to take a buy. And then if we find another, a sell and a buy, and we'll just back and forth. So here is a sell trade. We're going to turn it up just a little, see if we can find a couple of these. Oh, it jumps ahead a little. And right there, that candle came down. It just went so fast. That green candle came down here. It posted, oh, that's only 2.5. We got to keep it going. I apologize. So there's that candle. It's still pointed down. And right there at this red candle, it posted 5 pips in my favor. So depending on the amount of money that you want to leverage for this, you can leverage $1 per pip, $10 a pip. Be creative. Come up with another number. So now we're down in the oversold position. Under this red line, we're going to take our 5 pips, see if this turns back for a buy. If it does, we'll take it. If it doesn't, maybe we'll continue for a sell. So let's just see what happens here. So it looks like it continues down for a bit. At that next candle post, I want to be a little bit further down the road. Nope, keep going. Waiting for that commitment into the channel over here on the right there. So I'm going to stop that. I'm going to get this out of the way. So now we're committed into the channel. Back up for a buy. We're not going to pretend these aren't here, but we're just not going to break them down too much here. I don't want to give too much of the candy away, but we've got, you can see at least the direction is up. The direction is up. So we're going to take that trade again. Come on. Oh, stop. What did I do? Right there. Yikes. Got to pause that. Technology is getting away from me. I think I'm going to have to let that one go. I'm a little bit too far through the channel. I wasn't able to set that trade up. So let's just let this one run. We're going to watch it. It's going to go up. I just was unable to get into it because I was fumbling around with technology. So there was a great buy trade. Now we're in the overbought position. Now we're going to watch and see if this maxes out and turns back down. Maybe we'll take a second sell trade. Okay, we're not there yet. Still pointed up. Oh, continuation maybe. Oh, there we go. We got flattening out. Yeah, and there we go. That's committed to the channel right there. So oversold, exhausted, turned back into the channel. You can see my direction on this pressure indicator has turned. This indicator up here has turned. And I've got a nice indicator and a candle poking through. So let's set this up again. I like the number 5, so I'm going to go 5 more. I have reasons for that, but again, I don't want to let all the candy out of the bag. So we're going to play this out. And my target is halfway is this line. And the one below it, we'll find it in a minute, is the profit. And there's halfway. You can see we're about halfway through the channel. Watch to see, yep, and there it is right there. There's another win. So had I been able to catch the buy trade, that would have been a second win. This could have been the third, or this is the third win. And that's the intro to this. And so that would have been, the second one was also worth 5. We only were able to take the 10, but we saw the second one. So you've made 10 pips. Now all you need to do is be creative and put a dollar amount. Are you going to trade $1 and you made $10 today? Is your lot size $10? Then you made $100 today. Or like I said, be creative. How much lot size can you be creative for? Can you think of $100 lot size and make 10 pips? Be creative. So there's the trade.
Awesome. Hey, I appreciate that, Tyler. You know, that's the thing, is that when we get to that level of day trading, we're able to just read the indicators a lot more fluidly, which is something I know a lot of our students strive to do, and a lot of them do a really great job at doing it. Leading up to that, you know, obviously we have ways that we like to lead in with, you know, with patterns and things like that. But this is but I do appreciate you kind of just taking it and looking at the whole picture, as opposed to waiting for very specific parameters, which is something we do really often nonetheless. But it is also nice to have those opportunities where we can display, when we're just kind of off the cuff reading the indicators, placing trades, which is a lot of what, you know, we do within our trade circle. And a lot of that obviously comes with experience. You know, it's not something that you just pick up right away, but fortunately there are ways that we have that people can just pick up, grab the pattern, run with it. And if that's all they choose to do, then great, that's awesome. But for the most part, we've got people that are hungry. They want to continue to learn and grow as professional day traders. So I appreciate you being here today, Tyler. That was awesome. Thank you very much. And Tyler Perry, ladies and gentlemen, thank you.
All right. Thanks.
I'm going to take this back here. All right. Okay. All right. So as usual, I just want to give you guys this offer. This is how we always like to end. We want for you guys to try it out. We want for you guys to test drive it. You know, drive it like you stole it, right? A lot of stuff that Tyler showed, a lot of the stuff that we show on other sessions. We want for you guys to be able to do this for yourself. We want for you guys to see that it's not just us telling you that this is something that you can do, but it is something that you can experience for yourself being able to do, right? Again, and we talk about this a lot. It doesn't matter if it works for Tyler and for myself and for Tim and for hundreds of other traders that are trading our corporate funds right now. The fact remains, if it doesn't work for you, as far as you're concerned, it doesn't work. Well, just like anything else, if you want to know if it works, you got to try it out, right? And that's what we want to invite you to do. We want to invite you to try it out, give it a test drive. With that test drive, you're going to get access to our proprietary indicators. So the indicators Tyler was just showing you, which you can actually access remotely now. On-demand training videos. So tons of videos you're going to be able to access on demand to further your knowledge as a professional day trader. The continued education webinars are extraordinary because they are interactive. You can ask questions, you know, you can ask them to elaborate. A lot of times you can even ask questions about day trading that aren't specific and don't pertain to that particular topic, whatever it is that we're talking about that day. So it's a great resource to continue and further your education. Daily trading webinars, these are awesome because once you're a member, then that allows for us to be able to take live trades with you. So we'll actually place live trades in the market. You can mimic those trades or just learn from watching someone like Tyler did today. Just take trades, watch what they're waiting to set up, or what they're watching for to set up before they enter the trade, and glean from that and be able to introduce that into your trade strategy. Other ways to communicate with other traders with Trader Chat for mobile and desktop, so you're able to reach out to other traders, other coaches, follow along in conversations. So really great resource, especially when you're trying to build yourself into a day trading culture. Right? You want to surround yourself, you want to immerse yourself in the culture. These are great ways to do that, right? Start speaking the language, start understanding the lingo, the concepts, gleaning from other people's psychological facets, and really understanding what it is to be a professional day trader. Of course, you're going to get the real-time alerts, 15 to 20 of them a day. And with this program, we are offering 2 one-on-one coaching sessions with a professional day trader where we go over trade setups with you, teach you new approaches, give you some homework to practice those setups, place those trades, and we'll follow up on that, clean anything up that needs to be cleaned up and the like, so that you can kind of experience what it's like to have that one-on-one coach, just a taste of it, right? Obviously, we don't want you trading with real money until you upgrade, primarily because we don't want you to fail. In our experience, when people come to us, no matter if they've been trading for 2 decades or never traded a day in their life or anything in between, you don't know how to trade yet. A lot of day trading happens in the back end, the blueprinting, back testing, understanding risk, money management, things like that. And if you don't know those things yet, you could probably make a few trades and be successful at making a few trades, but if you don't know what you're doing, you could very well cost yourself everything. So we don't want you to run into that. We want for you to have an opportunity to learn and grow as a professional day trader. Vet us to see if we're the right fit for you, if what we're saying has any validity whatsoever, if it's valuable, if it meets a personal need, and if you can do it, right? For us, we just want to see that you're a good student. You show up to appointments and you're teachable. That's the rundown of it. We want you to be able to experience it for yourself, so you can tell yourself, yes, this is good. I can do this. It's valuable. It meets a personal need. So normally it's over $800. I think it's like $830 exactly, or something like that, right? Over $800. Normally we don't charge that. We'll have different promotions. Especially in light of COVID, we actually have been keeping it really inexpensive. Matter of fact, we had it free for a little while. You guys remember that. But right now, this $10, we're going to donate 100% of it to charity, which is what Tyler and I were talking about earlier. So Feeding America is our charity partner for this little while, and we're sending them money, and they're counting on it, right? They know that as long as they're our charity partner, that as you guys come into the Trader Light program to take those steps to reach your financial future, right, whatever your dreams and your goals are, that we're also able to help out people all across America that are suffering hard times, men, women, children, elderly, get meals that they could maybe otherwise not be able to have. So that $10 goes a long way for you, so that you can see, is this right? Is this good for us, right? Are you good for us? Are we good for you? But also that $10 is going to go towards making 100 meals, which it just blows my mind, right? They really make that $10 stretch. So they're going to make 100 meals out of your $10 and feed people in need. So awesome opportunity to help people, feed people in need, and feed your brain, right? And get you to a place so that you can see if this is a good fit for you, if this is the right place. Now, once we come to that understanding, a lot of the programs that Tyler and I were talking about today, the Trader University, when we accept you into that program, the enrollment starts anywhere from $8,000 all the way up to $23,000. And Tyler was kind of talking about some of the breakdown on that, right? So like the $8,000 program, you're still getting one-on-one coaching. You're still getting a funded account. All right, so we're doing that even it's not like you have to pay for the biggest program to get one-on-one coaching and a funded account, right? You're still getting all of that. they're the few things that make the difference between each of the programs. At the $8,000 program, it's a 50-50 split, right? But you're still getting 6 weeks of one-on-one coaching and a 50-50 split. The program up from there, you're getting a 60-40, from there 70-30, and then finally 80-20. But all of our programs come with a minimum of 6 weeks of one-on-one coaching and up to 9 weeks of one-on-one coaching, and anywhere from 50,000 max funding all the way up to 100,000 max funding. And everybody has that, the ability to get that funded account once you go through our Trader University, and your financial trajectory starts improving. Those goals, those, the why as to why you're looking at this, the why as to why you've looked at other things to try to get to your financial goals, starts becoming a reality. Now you're taking action instead of just letting those things rattle around in your brain like some distant dream, right? You now have action that you're taking towards that goal. And that's the first step to achieving financial freedom. So thank you guys for joining us today. We look forward to talking with you guys next week, and happy trading.